All right, buckaroos. That was kind of cringe. This upcoming season, we got Operation Dread Factor, which seems to completely change the meta, in my personal opinion, because we have this insane op, Fin. So in today's video, what I'll be doing is I'll be ranking each operator in my own specific tier list. For example, starting out, we have meta, always useful. These operators are always going to be useful. For example, Jaeger is always useful. We have great ops, but slightly site dependent. Of course, that can be somebody like Ace, for example, because there are certain walls you're not going to want to go. By the way, if you don't know which hard breach to go, you can watch this video. Very site dependent. This operator is more or less, I would say, mirror, to be honest, in terms of the default meta. Filler picks, not awful, but not great, very mid. This operator would be kind of like an operator like Blitz. And trash ops would be, you know, I don't know, someone like Blackbeard. Let's get into it. Let me know down in the comments, guys, if you disagree, agree, and where you would swap these operators. Let's get into it. I'm going to go to trash ops first. So very first, like I said, Blackbeard, he is trash. There's no use in going this operator. He has a dog meat primary weapon, which is his AR. His DMR is mid. His ability is even worse. It's like you put saran wrap on a jellyfish and you want the jellyfish to go shoot. What is that example? It's like you put saran wrap on in a grandma's face and you expect her to shoot and move quick. You literally nerf yourself going this op. This op sucks. Honestly, that's the only op I can say is completely trash. I'm not lying. Not lying at all. Next, let's go into filler picks. So I'm going to say Cav, Blitz. Now, with Cav and Blitz, both these operators are huge filler picks, and they are also very site dependent and operator dependent when it comes to your teammates and what they plan on going. Blitz can be super effective, and you can either make or break a game with this operator, but you can also troll 90% of the time. So, for example, Cav, on the other hand, is she's very but if you make her work, you really get big and make her work. So that's why I'm not putting her in trash, because you can make her useful, but she is a huge filler pick operator. You do not need to be bringing this operator in terms of site setup and whatnot. So that's where I'm going to put him. Next is Glaz. Glaz has grenades, sniper, honestly, a decent loadout, but he is a filler pick. He isn't very dependent on utility. His primary gadget is very, you know, selfish. There's really no point in going him unless you are on a map like Coastline, or if you have a certain strat with your teammates, which you can make him work. Once again, it is all, you know, filler picks and site dependent and what's happening. Same with IQ. Holy shit. Can we get nades back on IQ? Besides that, she's a filler pick. She's all right. She has great guns, but she's very underwhelming to use 90% of the time. So, yeah. Grim is going to go in filler picks as well, because he is a filler pick. Last season, I would have put him in trash ops, but with him being slightly buffed, it's going to be, you know, kind of cool to see how he's played now. But I still think he's one of those operators that's a huge filler pick and is not needed on the attacking end. Rook is going to be a filler pick, and I'm going to have you golds down in the comments trying to give me examples of why he's amazing. Rook is not amazing. Doc is better. There's 20 different, 50 different, million different operators that's better than this operator. Cool, you can withstand, but that is very situational and it is not needed. Get that shit out of here. I'm Yao Minging your shit. Smash. Oh, that's Dikembe Mutombo. My bad. Next, we have an operator like Sense. Now, Sense is pretty meh, but if you are a good player and you have high IQ and you know how to use this operator, it can be, you know, can be decent, but I just haven't seen a decent Sense yet. So for now, filler picks. Next is going to be Oryx. Oryx is a huge filler pick, especially with the 1.5 times scope. Guess who I'm going to put there next? Boom! Got you console champs and rank 2.0 champs as well. Getting angry right now. But both these operators are just not needed. Sure, they can bring utility to the team, but at the end of the day, you're comparing an operator like Alibi to other operators with way more utility. Say like, honestly, Solus is a way better pick. A zombie, like there's just way better picks that can really fill out the lineup, and you know, these two are very mid. I'm gonna say I'm gonna wait for Cali. Same with Warden. Warden's going to be one of those operators as filler pick. People are only going Warden because he has a 1.5 times scope. I really want Ubisoft to get out of this lane of giving operators scopes, so then they'll get picked. It's really annoying and very stupid. I hate Warden. I hate Albi. I hate Oryx just for this reason. Same with Ella. She just doesn't bring... She brings something, but it's just not... There's other operators that just do her job a lot better. All right, so next we're on very site dependent. Now, actually, I forgot Maru. Filler pick, my fault. Now we're on to very site dependent. Now, I'm going to put... I'm gonna put Bandit in very site dependent because there are certain maps where you can still Bandit trick even if Cade's on the board, and it's gonna be way more effective. And you're not going to get, you know, your ass shot or a nade thrown at you. But it is very site dependent. Cade most of the time is going to be better than Bandit, but to each their own. Next, we're going to have Twitch. I just feel like there's better picks than Twitch. And comparing an operator like Brava to Twitch or Flores to Twitch, it's all site dependent in my opinion from there. So that's why she's there. I'm going to put Ying in very site dependent because a lot of the times people just aren't using Ying in the average setting. So when it comes to a default play in ranked, Ying's going to be a little bit more site dependent because there is a little bit more coordination and there isn't a default take on most maps with Ying. So for now, I'm just going to have her on very site dependent because she is a good op, but she is site dependent. Callie is a huge site dependent operator. Callie is very underwhelming, but she can do her job well if there's a certain site. Castle is going to be very site dependent as well. He is pretty strong when he is used properly, but when he's used wrong, holy shit, he's a throw. Now, next is going to be Mira. I think Mira is very site dependent as well. I've seen literal games be tossed because Mira has been picked every single round and people have no idea how to play her. So very site dependent. Yo, I actually forgot to put filler picks in Finca. I am so sorry. I'm just going to put her in filler picks because I don't see her being needed, but she is appreciated when she is picked and used properly. I'm going to put Maverick in very site dependent because he is pretty great, but on some maps, I'm not going to want my primary or even secondary hard breach to be Maverick. So just for that reason, I'm going to put him in very site dependent. He doesn't have much flexibility in terms of his utility now because he lost his grenades a while ago. He can destroy utility, but he needs to get up close and personal. So I'd much rather have an Asher or Zofia or like anybody else than a Maverick pulling out a blowtorch. So very site dependent. Okay, so next is going to be Gridlock and Nomad. Both these operators, they're solid in their own areas, but there are maps where one or the other, or even a Claymore or a Zero Cam is going to be better for these operators. So they are actually one of the most site dependent operators in the entire game, in my personal opinion. You can definitely go Nomad and not use her properly on certain maps. Like for example, I'd much rather have a Gridlock for upstairs cafe attack because you can just Gridlock off the stairs, not worry about a bugged out Nomad, and you know, in that instance, it's fire. So going on to my next, which is great ops but slightly site dependent, I'm going to put Ace. Ace is a fantastic attacking hard breacher, but there are sites where he is slightly site dependent, and I much rather have Thermite or Habana or etc. in the mix. So I'm just gonna put Ace in there for now. Capital, I forgot to put Capital in filler picks, so that's on me. It's just I was debating if I want to put him on always useful because technically he is always useful, but he's not at the same time because like it's not like his primary gadget is going to be super effective out the gate compared to somebody like Ace or Thermite or even somebody with like smoke grenades. Like why not just go somebody with smoke grenades at that point? So he is very site dependent, and so or it's also player dependent. If you're a good Capital, you can make him the most fantastic operator, and vice versa. I'm gonna put Capcan in great op but slightly site dependent because there are maps where there's other trap operators that just fit better, and there's some sites where he just doesn't fit very well. For example, on a map like Canal, he works well on almost every single part of the map. But like say, you know, Oregon, you know, let's say if you're in basement, you can make him work, but is that really the operator that you're going to want to go for basement when there's much better operators that can provide you intel, that can provide you so much more area of effect? Because there are staircases that the enemies are going to have to go down. So for now, I'm just going to put them in trade-offs with slightly site dependent. Guys, where would you put Pulse? I'm going to put them in very site dependent. Once again, I'm sorry, because like I've been debating on this again because I just don't know. I feel like he's site dependent. Like Coastline Kitchen is great side of the map for him. I wouldn't want, you know what? Yeah, for the meta right now, I'm just gonna put him very site dependent. Goyo, I'm gonna put him, but slightly. He's a great op. Once again, there are maps where I just think there's better selection of operator than, you know, Goyo, but he is fantastic when he's used properly. Maestro is going to be in great op with slightly site dependent, and so is Echo. Both these operators have kind of one and the same, you know, pieces of cams, but they can be used completely differently. You can use both for intel, and then you can use one to zap people and then the other to blind. But I think with Brava, I'm not going to want to go Maestro and Echo on sites where I'm going to have to be off my cams quite a bit, because with Echo, you used to be able to just throw those, you know, things across the room and then have constant intel for the rest of the game. But now it's not like that. But you have to always be focused on what you're doing. Now I'm gonna put Sledge and Buck in the same role, which will be great ops but slightly site dependent. It's only because each one of these operators have their own effectiveness and, you know, negatives to certain maps. Some maps I'm gonna want to Sledge, some maps I'm gonna want to Buck, and some maps I might even want both. Both amazing though. I'm gonna say Jackal is slightly site dependent because he just is. I don't need to over explain why every single operator is. Montang as well. Montang, when used properly, he's amazing, but on certain maps you're just not, or sites I should say, you just not want to go in. Great part of the map, like for example on Bank, when you go basement, having a Montang for that server execute is fantastic. Now Fuse is probably going to be my last slightly site dependent but great. I love Fuse. I've loved Fuse since like year 2. People always thought that he was a gold type operator, but I think he's fantastic. So I'm gonna put him there. Thermite as well, I'm gonna put him straight up a slightly site dependent as well, because I feel like Ace and Thermite, they're both amazing, but once again you have certain maps where Ace is better than Thermite and Thermite is better than Ace. You can't always use both these hard breach roles. The only hard breacher I can say you can always use for lines of sight honestly might be Hibana, which I'm gonna have people pissed off because I put Maverick over here in very site dependent, because technically you can, he's always useful, but the difference between these two is Hibana can create lines of sight and make vaultable or crouchable or pronable holes, while Maverick can only do singular, if that makes sense. Like he has a limited amount of canisters compared to the Hibana pellets that Hibana has. Hibana can just overall create better, more effective quality holes. So that's why I would say that Hibana's the best hard breacher in the video game and more versatile than everybody. I'm gonna put Lion in great op but slightly site dependent. Same with Ash and same with Sophia, because both these operators kind of do one in the same, kind of like Buck and Sledge. It just depends on the site, how you're playing it, how you're attacking it, etc. I'm gonna put Cade in always useful because he is always useful, because walls are always going to need to be open, hatches as well, so you can't go wrong with him. Same with Brava. People were shitting on Brava last season when she was released, but personally I saw the great thing about her, that she's amazing, so I think that she's always useful. Same with Azami. Azami's amazing. Same with the Rooney. Both these operators do amazing jobs. Rooney gives you bulletproof cam or barbed wire, which is good intel, or she has her Aruni gates, which she has 3, which allows you to either damage enemies, create lines that that literally you can't drone through, or you have to burn and it burns utility. So they're both amazing. Jaeger is always useful, don't need to explain that, and so is Y. Flores is going to be in great ops but slightly site dependent, because I almost put him in always useful because technically he would always be useful, but I think there are maps where he's not always useful, like where it might be a little bit harder to maneuver your drones in sight and destroy utility, especially when it comes to, you know, the meta that we're in. A lot of people are not going as much utility as we once seen. Solus is always useful because people always have drones. Knock will be straight up a slight. I don't know where to put Knock, because like I'm gonna put her in filler picks actually, because she is kind of a filler pick in my opinion. You know what? No. I'm gonna put her in great op, but slightly side dependent for Dokkaebi, because if she just didn't have a DMR, I feel like she would be played way more. But yeah, Shashanka is always useful. Same with Smoke. Both these operators deny so much time and they're amazing. I'm not gonna lie, the Thorn is going to be in great ops, but slightly side dependent. Hear me out, because I hate Thorn because I feel how useless she is. With this new operator, Veneer, I think his name is, she is going to be amazing. The Symmetry, or whatever the hell the word is, them two playing off one another and using their util is going to be chef's kiss. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. So I just think that these two operators work so well. And Veneer coming out has buffed so many defenders. It's going to be insane. Clash technically is always useful. Technically. Same with Mute, always useful. Same with Thatcher. Where'd Thatcher go? Oh, there he is. Same with Doc. I'm gonna put Thunderbird in great ops, but slightly site dependent, because most of the time Doc is just a better pick, to be honest, man. Osa is always useful as well. Same with Frost. Yana as well. Legion is going to be I'm gonna put him more towards the great ops. He's not really site dependent, but I think, I don't know. I just think that he is a little bit more. He's not needed every round. You know, I'm not stressing if there's not a Legion. You know, Malusi is of course always useful. Velk is always useful. Vigil's a great op. He's site dependent. Zero can always be useful as well. I have two Malusis. I didn't realize that. And last but not least, Mozzie. He is always useful because denying of drones. The great thing about Siege is we're in a strong part of the operators. There's so many strong operators on attack and defense. Guys, please give us Recruit back, because he is always useful. Give us both logos. You know, Ubisoft needs to be able to let us customize these little logos, because like, look at this. Look at these cool little guys. I put them all in useful. It's like a little army. I have a little army of recruits. Yeah. So let me know what you guys think of this list. Now, personally, I'm just thinking because of the versatility that we have. Is that even a word? Versatility? Versatility that we have in Siege at this moment is insane. So many operators are great, or just, you know, meta, for example. And I'm really excited for this new operator, Veneer. Ubisoft is hitting home runs with these new ops these last 2 seasons. So as long as they keep up this pressure in terms of banging out great ops, I feel like Siege is going to continue to thrive in amazing ways. But guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this list. You guys might completely disagree on some of my picks, but that's totally okay, as long as we all can agree that Blackbeard is a trash operator and he needs to be deleted out of this game and possibly even reworked. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure that you guys like, sub, and comment. One love.